Hi all the students, welcome once again to yet another session for XAT. Now in today's class, we people are going to discuss reading comprehension. I'll take one passage and 3 questions will be based on that. And the discussion which we are going to have today will actually help you in developing a very good understanding and approach in solving the questions of passages. Generally, a good number of students, they keep coming to us. They say that, sir, ये तो पता चल जाता है that among the 4 options or 5 options, ये 2 या 3 are not the correct answer. But generally, between the remaining 2 options, we tend to mark the wrong answer. ऐसा क्यों होता है? We will try to understand that also. And for this, we people will first have to understand what is paper setter's psychology. अगर मुझे स्टूडेंट जैट का पेपर डिज़ाइन करना हो तो मैं कहीं से एक पैसेज लूँगा, आई ड्राफ्ट द क्वेश्चन, अब उसके बाद मैं ऑप्शंस लिखना स्टार्ट करूँगा। 2 या 3 ऑप्शंस में तो मैं खुद भी बहुत ज़्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाऊंगा। ये वही ऑप्शंस हैं जो स्टूडेंट्स बहुत इजीली रूल आउट कर लेते हैं। बट अब स्टूडेंट्स जो बचे हुए 2 ऑप्शंस हैं उनमें आई राइट द करेक्ट आंसर और एक ऑप्शन मैं इस तरह से लिखूंगा जो दिखेगा सही बट एक्चुअली होगा नहीं। तो वो जो ट्रैप है उससे स्टूडेंट्स हमें बचना है। तो ये पैसेज जो मैं आपके साथ सॉल्व करूंगा, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट यू विल एक्चुअली कम टू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ट्रैप्स कैन बी देयर। हम लोग अपनी क्लासेस जब लेते हैं तो वहाँ पर ऐसे 13-14 ट्रैप्स के बारे में स्टूडेंट्स को बताते हैं। We actually tell the students what things a paper setter may think about, and जब भी पेपर सेटर पेपर्स बनाता है, ऑप्शंस ड्राफ्ट करता है, उसके दिमाग में स्टूडेंट्स की साइकोलॉजी होती है। उसे पता होता है कि स्टूडेंट्स कहाँ पर गलती करेंगे और कहाँ पर हो सकता है किस ऑप्शन को लेकर वो कंफ्यूज हो जाए। द सेम थिंग वी पीपल विल हैव टू डू नाउ। So while giving the answers, we will have to keep in mind the paper setter's psychology. स्टूडेंट्स समझना जो ऑप्शन आपको बहुत ज़्यादा अपील करता है बस वहीं पर वी पीपल हैव टू बिकम एक्स्ट्रा केयरफुल। और कई बार जो कंटेंट होता है पैसेज का हो सकता है कीवर्ड्स आर वन एंड द सेम, लेकिन फिर भी ऑप्शन द वे द ऑप्शन हैज़ बीन रिटन द ओवरऑल मीनिंग चेंजेस। तो वी नीड टू बी एक्स्ट्रा केयरफुल एंड ओवरऑल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। अनलेस वी अंडरस्टैंड the meaning of the paragraph, unless we understand the meanings of the options, we will not be able to give the correct answers. कई सारे स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है कि सर vocab का बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है पैसेजेस में। Believe me students, it is not the case. And you people have to develop a bit of common sense and do understand, अगर हम जब कोई पैसेज सॉल्व करते हैं हो सकता है हमें किसी वर्ड का मीनिंग नहीं भी पता हो, but at least in the context of the passage we people will have to understand what can be the possible meaning. So it's not a game of language, it's a game of your smartness, your logic, everything. I hope the point is clear. तो आज हम लोग सबसे पहले तो एक पैसेज लेंगे, but after that we are going to solve some very good questions of logical reasoning also. And when I say very good questions, believe me students, ये सारे questions इतने अच्छे हैं and the options are so confusing. I bet a good number of students or majority of the students are going to give wrong answers. पर जब मैं आपके साथ डिस्कस करूंगा तो एक्चुअली आपको पता चलेगा एलआर के इन क्वेश्चंस में क्या लॉजिक था एंड वापस से कैसे हमें क्वेश्चंस कंफ्यूज करते हैं। और ये डिस्कशन सिर्फ एलआर में हेल्प नहीं करेगा बट रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन में भी स्टूडेंट्स बहुत हेल्प करेगा। तो शैल वी स्टार्ट? चलिए स्टूडेंट्स, दैट ऑलमोस्ट आ चुका है एंड द टाइम हैज़ कम। आई डोंट से कि एक वीडियो में रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन को लेकर कोई मिरेकल होगा, पर फिर भी आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बड़ा बूस्ट हो जाएगा। एंड बिफोर आई स्टार्ट विद द सेशन, let me give big thank you to all the students for the wonderful response which you people have given to all the videos of this channel. Okay, believe me students, आप सबके जो comments हम लोग पढ़ते रहते हैं and you people are truly generous in giving appreciation. But एक और request है and the request is wherever you feel like we have some scope of improvement, आप ज़रूर हमको बताएं। lacking so people keep sharing with us. I keep telling my students, हमारी कुछ भी अच्छाइयाँ हैं तो दुनिया को ज़रूर बताओ, अपने फ्रेंड्स को बताओ, अपने जूनियर्स को बताओ, पर कहीं पर भी आपके कमियां हैं तो हमें ज़रूर बताएं। ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स, हमारी ये जर्नी अभी जस्ट स्टार्ट हुई है एंड इन दिस सेगमेंट वी पीपल हैव बिग प्लान्स एंड इन द कमिंग डेज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स वी पीपल आर प्लानिंग टू डू। जस्ट रिसेंटली हमने हमारा एक ऑनलाइन पूरा बैच लॉन्च किया है कैट 2024 को लेकर एंड इन द कमिंग डेज मैनी मोर सच एंडेवर्स आर गोइंग टू हैपन. So stay tuned with us, and now students, let us start with reading comprehension. So one passage is on the screen. You people will have to pause it. आराम से इस passage को पढ़ो, but only once. You people will have to read this passage only once, and after this, I'll show 3 questions one by one. And without going back to the passage, you will have to think the answer. और फिर स्टूडेंट्स अपन पढ़ना स्टार्ट करेंगे. एंड जैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लगभग इसी लेंथ के पैसेजेस वी सी इन जैट. ओके, एंड लेवल ऑफ द लैंग्वेज एंड द टॉपिक मोर और लेस स्टूडेंट्स आप मान के चल सकते हो बहुत ज़्यादा टफ पैसेज नहीं है, जैट लेवल का पैसेज है. और जैट में स्टूडेंट सारे पैसेजेस बहुत टफ नहीं होते, अंडरस्टैंड, और एक आधा अगर टफ है तो यू पीपल कैन एक्चुअली स्किप इट. चलिए, कमिंग ऑन, डन. पढ़ा आप लोगों ने? हियर आई शो द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. यस, गिव द आंसर. Decided. This becomes the second question. और कहीं पर भी स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं where some points are given and then we people will have to find out कि इन तीनों ऑप्शंस में से which are the correct options. तो बिल्कुल एक्स्ट्रा केयरफुल होना है ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में. ओके, गॉट द आंसर. एंड दिस बिकम्स द थर्ड क्वेश्चन. जैट में स्टूडेंट्स आपने देखा होगा रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में जनरली 3 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं एंड समटाइम्स 2 क्वेश्चंस आर आल्सो देयर. ओके, चलो. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दिस पैसेज टॉक्स अबाउट. सी, आई विल नॉट डिस्कस दिस पैसेज लाइन बाय लाइन, but actually I'll give you what is the crux of this passage. This passage talks about modern biotechnology. And students, in the very first paragraph, what is given to us? There are 2 different opinions. There are 2 different extreme opinions. There are some people who believe that this technology is going to be a magic solution. It's a universal panacea. I hope you people understand what is the meaning of panacea, isn't it? So panacea का meaning क्या होता है? Cure for all diseases. सभी problems का एक solution. So that is known as panacea. Students, you people try to understand one thing. When I say modern biotechnology, especially the creation of genetically modified crops, is often presented as a magic solution. Try to understand. Here, what is given? Often presented. So when I say often presented, that itself says that this is not the opinion of the author. The author says that it is often presented. इसका मतलब है कि author का opinion नहीं है. तो students, ये हमको समझ में आना चाहिए कि where the opinion of the author lies and where the opinion of some other persons lie. Okay? चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं students. Is often presented as a magic solution or universal panacea for the problems of poverty, inadequate nutrition, and even environmental degradation. So this becomes one opinion, and some people believe in that. But now students, conversely, there are people who present the picture of tech-generated monsters and major human health hazards being created by science. तो अब आप देखो students, modern biotechnology को लेकर there are 2 opposite opinions. कुछ लोग मानते हैं कि it's a magic solution and कुछ लोग मानते हैं students it is a tech generated monster. Author का opinion start होता है second paragraph से, where the author says the reality as always is far more complex than either of these 2 extremes. Even today, the total food production in the world is adequate to feed the hungry of the world. The problem is rather one of unequal distribution. So the author says that even if modern biotechnology आ भी जाए, उसकी वजह से possibly production बढ़ भी जाए, but the author says that the problem is not lack of production. The problem is unequal distribution. And moreover, students, when we talk about the problems of agriculture and the farmers also, the author says that the problems are somewhat different, whereas the solution is in some other direction. So the second paragraph says about modern biotechnology, about the genetically modified crops. The author is actually not very much concerned. The author is not very much passionate about it. He is not very positive about this new technology. So the author says that problem कुछ और है, लेकिन ये technology solution कुछ और देता है. Okay? Coming on students, the crux of the third paragraph. Now it is true that transgenic plants can offer a range of benefits which are above and beyond those. Now see students, if you people have gone through this third paragraph, it actually talks about some advantages of this new technology. It says that because of this new technology, the production is going to rise. Pest control में बहुत help मिलता है, अलग से pesticide डालने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है. But in the third paragraph, the author is raising a big question mark. And what is the question mark? It is all about what impact this new technology is going to have on human health? So that becomes the big question mark, isn't it? Author कहता है कि ये जो food grains हैं which we are going to cultivate using the new technology, इसका long term impact क्या होगा on human health? And in the last line, the author says the jury is still very much out on this matter and the controversy does not appear to be resolved quickly. So actually the author is concerned about the long-term effect of this new technology, especially on human health. I hope the point is okay. And coming on, students, the fourth paragraph is also very important. It says that the trouble is that most governments in developing countries have relatively low food and beverage regulatory standards, and public systems for monitoring and surveillance of such items are poor or non-existent. Thus leaves them open to entry and even dumping of a range of agricultural products of the new technology, which may not pass regulatory standards in the more developed countries. See students, in the last paragraph, the author says that actually the challenge is more with developing countries. मान लेते हैं स्टूडेंट, ये जितने फूड ग्रेन्स हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मॉडर्न बायोटेक्नोलॉजी जो भी हम कल्टिवेट करेंगे, डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज दे एक्चुअली हैव देयर ओन स्टैंडर्ड्स, दे हैव देयर ओन लेबोरेटरीज, तो वहाँ पर तो स्टूडेंट्स वो बच जाएंगे. बट एक्चुअली दीज डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज दे आर गोइंग टू जंप these food grains into the developing countries, and these developing countries being poor, they don't have their own standards, their own regulations. So the problem lies with the developing countries more. So that is the concern of the author. Now students, do understand, जब भी हम किसी passage को solve करते हैं, first of all, even if there is no question, you people will have to first understand what is the theme of the passage. The moment you understand what is the theme of the passage, giving the correct answers will actually become very easy for us. हो सकता है स्टूडेंट्स क्वेश्चन थीम के बारे में नहीं भी हो, बट स्टिल आप लोग पैसेज पढ़ने के बाद टेक अ 10 seconds pause and think what is the theme of the passage. So if I talk about the theme of this particular passage, here the author is actually, though he understands what are the advantages of this new technology, but still is concerned about the impact of this new technology on human health, and moreover he is concerned about the developing countries. So raising that concern becomes the main purpose of writing this passage. Okay, now see students, once we have understood this passage, let us come on the questions. So coming on the first question, so what do you think students, what is the correct answer? And I think some of the students might have given first option as the correct answer, but sorry to say first option is not correct. Now try to understand, this becomes the first trap. Here actually there are some keywords like genetically modified, universally, party, and environmental degradation. Now these are the keywords which are actually given in the passage also. So possibly some students may think like first option becomes the correct answer. And anyway, this becomes the very first option. तो जैसे हम first option को पढ़ते हैं, हमें लगता है कि yes, this is the right answer, and we people get prejudiced. And the moment we get prejudiced, we don't read the other options open-mindedly, and that is the reason students हम लोग गलती commit करते हैं. सबसे पहला पॉइंट, आप हर ऑप्शन को पूरे ओपन माइंडेडनेस के साथ पढ़ना स्टार्ट करो. हमें किसी भी ऑप्शन को पढ़कर प्रीजुडिस नहीं होना, अंडरस्टैंड. एंड ऑलवेज किसी भी आंसर को मार्क करते समय डू अंडरस्टैंड, हमें ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ इमोशन, इंट्यूजन, वी आर नॉट सपोज टू गिव द आंसर. द आंसर शुड बी प्योरली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द कंटेंट which is given in the passage. Now see students, first one, try to understand what is the meaning of this line. Keywords are same, but still the meaning can be different. The first option says genetically modified crops have been universally recognized as a solution to poverty and environmental degradation. Now see students, when I say universally recognized, it means that all the people believe in this. Whereas you people try to understand, there are some people who say that this is actually a tech-generated monster. Even the author himself does not believe in this. अच्छा, passage में क्या लिखा था? It's a universal panacea. और यहाँ पर क्या लिखा है? It is universally recognized. Students, दोनों में difference है. Yes, there are some people who believe that it's a magic solution, but there are some people who believe that it is not something which all the people believe in. Okay, so try to understand. First option is indeed not correct. Now tell me students, which is the right answer? क्या लगता है? Yes, the correct answer here is third option. If you have gone through the passage, If not, अगर वापस से देखना हो तो you people can actually go back now. And if we read the third paragraph, in the third paragraph, even the author accepts that this new technology has certain advantages. And because of this new technology, the production is going to rise. Okay, this technology can actually produce more yield as compared to the traditional methods. So the author accepts the advantages. But actually जो concern है author की वो कुछ और है, understand. I hope the point is clear. The third option, author बिल्कुल agree करता है, there is no problem at all. चलिए, coming on students, question number 2. So why according to the author is genetic modification of crops not an answer to the problem of hunger in the world? So what is the right answer? The correct answer is only B, yes. The problem of hunger in the world is not due to inadequate production of food, but due to unequal distribution of it. So this is that option which is directly given in the passage, and moreover this reason is relevant to the question also. कई बार स्टूडेंट्स आप देखोगे ऐसे ऑप्शंस आते हैं विच आर फैक्चुअली करेक्ट, विच आर एक्चुअली बेस्ड ऑन द पैसेज एंड बिल्कुल सही होते हैं, बट दैट ऑप्शन मे नॉट बी रेलेवेंट टू द क्वेश्चन. व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इज द ऑप्शन हैज टू बी रेलेवेंट ऑल्सो. नाउ कमिंग ऑन द फर्स्ट एंड द थर्ड वन, ये दोनों स्टूडेंट्स फैक्चुअली बिल्कुल गलत है. फर्स्ट कहता है people being highly doubtful of the long-term effects of genetically modified crops do not buy the products grown by such methods. Now see, try to understand, this passage is all about an anticipation. Okay, the passage says that possibly future में human health पर इसका negative impact पड़े, and because of that, okay, the author is actually cautioning the policy makers that we have to be extra careful before we proceed with this new technology. पर ये कहना कि लोग खरीद ही नहीं रहे हैं, बेटा अभी तक तो ये प्रोडक्ट्स आई नहीं है मार्केट में, अंडरस्टैंड. तो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन, ओके, वी नीड टू वेट फॉर दैट. तो ये कहना कि पीपल आर नॉट बाइंग इज एब्सोल्युटली इनकरेक्ट. कमिंग ऑन द थर्ड वन, मेनी डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज हैव बैंड. नाउ सी स्टूडेंट्स, हैव बैंड, इज इट? अरे ऑथर इज जस्ट रेजिंग अ कंसर्न. The author says that these developing nations, they have the regulatory standards. So possibly वो तो बच जाएंगे, but they are going to dump the products into the developing countries, so the danger lies more with the developing countries. और यहाँ पर students, what the option says? The option says कि developing countries ने तो ban ही लगा दिया, okay, ban ही लगा दिया, and moreover the developed countries have been dumping these products into developing countries. Nowhere at all. It is just an anticipation. It is just a concern which the author has. Possibly future में ऐसा हो सकता है, understand. पर ये कहना कि developing countries ने ban लगा दिया, you understand कितना गलत है. I hope the point is clear. So the correct answer is second option. Coming on the third one, the author of the given passage seems to be definitely. Yes, what is the correct answer? Here you need to understand what is the approach of the author, what is the ultimate message of the author. So this is all about understanding what is the theme of the passage. Yes, what is the correct answer? Now I see this question should not be very tough for a majority of the students, but फिर भी मैं कई बार students को देखता हूँ कि वो गलती करते हैं. कई बार यहाँ पर third option भी students mark करते हैं, which is anyway not correct. See, we are not supposed to give the answer purely on the basis of our own interpretation. You need to understand what actually the author wants to say. You need to step into the shoes of the author. So here, students, the best answer is both. The author is unconvinced of the long-term effects and rationale for immediate requirement of genetically modified products. That is what the author is trying to say. The author says that इसके जो negative effects हैं, people have to be extra careful about that. So the author does not agree with that we have to consider this new technology to be a magic solution and we have to become proactive on this. The author says that we have to be extra careful. So he's not very much convinced about the long-term effects, and that is the reason the author is concerned about the new technology. I hope students the point is clear. तो जितनी clarity से मैंने आपको समझाया, उतनी clarity से students you people will have to understand. तब जाकर you can be confident in marking accurate answers. तो जो बच्चे कहते हैं कि सर passages में confidence नहीं रहता, ऐसा नहीं है बेटा. अगर आप ढंग से समझोगे तो 100% कॉन्फिडेंस रहेगा. ओके, चलिए. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स विल बी टेकिंग सच क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आर एक्चुअली क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, एंड वी सी दैट इवन सच क्वेश्चंस आर वेरी कॉमन इन दैट. Now here what you people are supposed to do is, a paragraph is given to us and we need to find out the last sentence of the paragraph. We need to complete the paragraph here. So this becomes a question of logical completion of ideas. Okay, I hope the point is clear. So इन 5 options में से हमको बताना है what is going to come here so that we can apply a full stop here and this paragraph gets completed. Okay, ऐसा 1 या 2 क्वेश्चन आने के चांसेस हैं ZAT में. Yes. Tell all the students what is the correct answer. It's a wonderful question, not so easy to understand. Many self-described atheists share common skeptical concerns regarding supernatural claims, citing a lack of empirical evidence for the existence of deities. Other arguments for atheism are philosophical, social, or historical. I think all the students do understand. Atheists are the people who don't believe in God or some supernatural power. And they say that the reasons are lack of empirical evidence. Empirical का मतलब होता है something which is based on experiments. And उसके साथ साथ कुछ और arguments हैं, okay, which are philosophical, social or historical. Although many self-described atheists tend towards secular philosophies such as humanism, rationalism and naturalism, there is no one ideology or set of behaviors to which all atheists adhere. Now the term atheism originated as a pejorative epithet applied to any person or belief in conflict with established religion. Actually students, ये term originate कैसे होता है? So this term had a negative connotation. Pejorative का मतलब होता है a piece of criticism and epithet का मतलब होता है students which shows quality. So this word actually shows quality in a negative manner of such persons who were in conflict with established religion. Okay, so this is how this term actually got originated. With the spread of free thought, scientific skepticism and criticism of religion, comma, and now we need to find out the last line. So students, what is the correct answer? First option says the schism. Schism basically stands for divide. The divide between theist and atheist has taken a new dimension. Students, anyway, first option cannot be the correct answer. See, to give the correct answer, you need to understand कि अगर मुझे यहाँ पर लास्ट लाइन पता करनी है तो यहाँ पर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है इसके जस्ट पहले वाली लाइन. See students, what I am saying here. अच्छा, from here till this point, I'm actually discussing about atheists. I'm saying that what logic these people generally give and what they believe in. पर यहाँ से students मैं start करता हूँ discussing the term atheism. ये ओरिजिनेट कैसे हुआ? ओके, लेकिन विद द स्प्रेड ऑफ फ्री थॉट, साइंटिफिक स्केप्टिसिज्म एंड द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ रिलीजन, आई थिंक स्टूडेंट्स ये जो टर्म पर डिस्कशन स्टार्ट हुआ है ना, हमारी जो लास्ट लाइन है वो उसी से रिलेटेड होनी चाहिए. तो स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर? आई थिंक द बेस्ट आंसर हियर इज थर्ड ऑप्शन. एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट्स, थर्ड ऑप्शन बिकम्स द बेस्ट वन. यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. थर्ड ऑप्शन क्या कहता है? द टर्म बिगैन to gather a more specific meaning and was sometimes used as a self-description by atheists. So, term originate कैसे हुआ? But because of these things, sorry, because of free thought, scientific skepticism and all, the term began to gather a more specific meaning. So, students, third becomes the correct answer. बाकी सब options आप लोग compare करना, topic से related है, but actually last line. अगर मैं इनमें से कुछ भी लेता हूं तो पूरा पैराग्राफ थोड़ा सा इलॉजिकल हो जाएगा. अंडरस्टैंड. लेट मी टेक द सेकंड वन. द सेल्फ डिस्क्राइब्ड atheist now have an edge over perennial theist. Not at all. What I mean to say, anyway, I'm discussing about the term. Understand how actually it got originated and how the meaning of this term got transformed. Both the self-described atheists, okay, were as bemused as ever. Even this is not the correct answer. And theist and atheist have found answers in agnosticism. Anyway, students, यहाँ पर भी I'm giving a new dimension which is not correct. So I think all the students do understand. Third option becomes the correct answer. Now this question is a wonderful question, and this is one of the most favorite questions of mine. And I bet all the students, okay, I bet all the students possibly आपका आंसर इस क्वेश्चन में गलत होने वाला है. Okay. Yes, 99% of the students will be giving wrong answers here. Yes, anyway, pause it, think what can be the correct answer. ओके, डिस्कस करें. चलो, बहुत ही अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. इसको जब मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगा और तभी मैं कहता हूँ ये जो एलआर के क्वेश्चंस हैं, स्टूडेंट्स सिर्फ एलआर में हेल्प नहीं मिलेगी बट पैसेजेस में भी बहुत हेल्प मिलेगी. अंडरस्टैंड. चलिए. एज पार्ट ऑफ अ डेलिकेटली बैलेंस्ड सिस्टम, द ह्यूमन हार्ट secretes a hormone, a substance that controls the amount of salt in the blood and the volume of blood circulating within the body. Only very small quantities of the hormone are required. This hormone is extremely important in regulating blood pressure and is found in large amounts in the blood of those suffering a heart attack. Okay, I think to give the correct answer here, it is important to read this paragraph twice. ऐसे पैराग्राफ को स्टूडेंट्स आप कभी भी सिर्फ एक बार पढ़ के आंसर मत देना, बिकॉज कितनी भी अच्छी आपकी रीडिंग हो, एक ही बार में पूरे क्रक्स को समझना समटाइम्स बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट. नाउ व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर? यस, चलो एक बार वापस से पढ़ते हैं, मेरे साथ पढ़ो वापस से. एज पार्ट ऑफ अ डेलिकेटली बैलेंस सिस्टम, द ह्यूमन हार्ट secretes a hormone, a substance that controls the amount of salt in the blood. So one thing is clear, जो हार्मोन है that actually controls the amount of salt in the blood and the volume of blood circulating within the body. Only very small quantities of the hormone are required and this hormone is extremely important in regulating the blood pressure. तो कम से कम स्टूडेंट्स हमको ये समझ में आ गया जो हार्मोन है that has some relation with the blood pressure. Now what kind of relation it has, we don't know. We have come to know that there is some relationship, and at the same time we also know that very less quantity of this hormone is needed. Okay, अभी स्टूडेंट्स बहुत मजा आने वाला है जब मैं ऑप्शंस डिस्कस करूंगा. and is found in large amounts in the blood of those suffering a heart attack. चलिए, coming on the first one, the question says if the statements above are true, then it must also be true that. Coming on the first one, if there is a deficiency in the amount of heart hormone secreted, low blood pressure will result. जिन बच्चों ने फर्स्ट ऑप्शन आंसर दिया, सॉरी टू से फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज नॉट द करेक्ट आंसर, बिकॉज एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट्स आप देखो पैसेज को पढ़कर ये तो समझ में आता है कि देयर इज सम रिलेशन बिटवीन क्वांटिटी ऑफ द हार्मोन एंड ब्लड प्रेशर, बट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिलेशन इज देयर? इज द रिलेशन डायरेक्ट और इनवर्स? हमें नहीं पता. ऐसा भी हो सकता है स्टूडेंट्स कि हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी कम होती है तो ब्लड प्रेशर बढ़ जाता हो. ओके, या ऐसा भी होता है, हो सकता है कि हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी कम होने पर ब्लड प्रेशर कम हो जाता हो. हमें नहीं पता स्टूडेंट्स व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप इज देयर. बाय रीडिंग द पैराग्राफ वी आर ओनली एबल टू deduce that there is a relation between quantity of hormone and blood pressure. Try to understand when I say the word regulating the blood pressure. So when I say regulating, that does not show the kind of relationship. इसलिए स्टूडेंट्स ये प्रेज्यूम करके चलना कि हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी अगर कम होती है तो ब्लड प्रेशर कम होगा. सॉरी, आई डिसएग्री. ओके, कमिंग ऑन स्टूडेंट्स द सेकंड वन. पॉसिबली कई बच्चों का आंसर सेकंड होगा, इजंट इट? सॉरी टू से जिन बच्चों का आंसर सेकंड ऑप्शन है वो भी गलत है. इट इज लार्ज क्वांटिटीज ऑफ द हार्ट हार्मोन दैट कॉज हार्ट अटैक्स टू अकर. नाउ पॉसिबली the moment I read the second option, मुझे लगेगा कि second option is indeed correct. And if I see the last line, is found in large amounts in the blood of those suffering a heart attack. Students, इस last line से ये तो समझ में आता है कि जिनको हार्ट अटैक होता है उनके ब्लड में इस हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी ज़्यादा मिलती है. But now try to understand what the second option says. It says that it is large quantities of the heart hormone that cause heart attacks to occur. Now students, I am raising a doubt. Try to understand. ये जो क्वेश्चंस है ना, ये क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो किसी भी ऑप्शन को लेकर हमें बहुत जल्दी से कन्विंस नहीं होना है. वी पीपल विल ऑलवेज हैव टू थिंक क्रिटिकली. वी पीपल शुड ऑलवेज ट्राई टू रेज क्वेश्चंस. व्हेन आई से कि जिन्हें हार्ट अटैक होता है उनके ब्लड में इस हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी ज़्यादा मिलती है. बट स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कॉज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशनशिप डू वी हैव हियर? ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि हार्ट अटैक आने की वजह से इस हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी बढ़ जाती हो. तो हाउ कैन वी ओनली प्रेज्यूम दैट इट इज द लार्ज क्वांटिटी ऑफ द हार्मोन विच इज कॉजिंग द हार्ट अटैक? इट कैन बी द अदर वे अराउंड ऑल्सो. आई होप यू आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई मीन टू से. अगेन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. बाय रीडिंग द लास्ट लाइन we actually come to know that there is some relationship between the quantity of the hormone and the heart attack. but try to understand what kind of relation is there. How can we deduce something? ये जो कॉज एंड इफेक्ट का रिलेशनशिप है वो कुछ भी हो सकता है. हो सकता है क्वांटिटी बढ़ने की वजह से हार्ट अटैक आ गया. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है हार्ट अटैक आने की वजह से क्वांटिटी बढ़ गई, क्योंकि लिखा क्या है कि जिन्हें हार्ट अटैक होता है उनकी बॉडी में इस हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी ज़्यादा मिलती है. बट एक्चुअली what is the cause and what is the effect? How can we deduce this? So students do understand second option is indeed not the correct answer. I hope the point is clear. आराम से शांत दिमाग से सोचो what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that we cannot be sure about the cause and effect relationship here. Okay, we only know that कि जिन्हें हार्ट अटैक होता है उनके ब्लड में इस हार्मोन की क्वांटिटी ज़्यादा मिलती है. अंडरस्टैंड. बट okay, what is the cause and what is the effect? Nothing is clear. Okay, so do understand, कोई भी चीज unwantedly presume करके चलना is not acceptable. Now coming on, there are two options left. Still students, I'll give you a choice. Ask करके you people can decide which is the correct answer. Now I think a majority of the students would have given third as the correct answer, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you. The effects of a small amount of the heart hormone will be long lasting in the body. Now see students, third option, again I disagree. Okay, long lasting. Students, इस पूरे पैराग्राफ में ऐसा कहाँ पर कुछ लिखा है जिससे हम लोग ये deduce कर सकते हैं the effects of a small amount of the heart hormone will be long lasting. See, let me go through the paragraph once again. A substance that controls the amount of salt in the blood, okay, volume of blood circulating within the body. Very small quantities of hormone are required. This hormone is extremely important in regulating blood pressure and found in large amounts. But students, ये कहना कि the effect is going to be long lasting. Nowhere we can deduce this. But now, students, coming on the fourth option, which is actually the correct answer. The correct answer is fourth option. And I know कई सारे students ने सबसे पहले fourth option को ही rule out किया होगा. Saying that or thinking that, sir, we are discussing about heart, we are discussing about the hormone, but here students we are talking about mechanical pump. So it seems like fourth option is actually irrelevant. But now try to understand what the question says. If the statements above are true, then it must also be true that by reading the paragraph, we people can easily deduce that heart not only does the function of pumping the blood, it actually secretes a hormone also. So when I say heart secretes a hormone, that means students, heart does chemical functions also. तो केवल ये मैकेनिकल फंक्शन नहीं करता ब्लड को पंप करने का, इसमें केमिकल प्रोसेस भी होता है. इट सेक्रीट्स हार्मोन. नाउ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. अब अगर मैं किसी हार्ट की जगह एक मैकेनिकल पंप लगा दूं, will it be able to do all the functions of a heart? Not at all. So now read the fourth option. If a device that is only a mechanical pump is used as an artificial heart, it will not perform all the functions of the human heart. So indeed, students, the moment we read the paragraph, we can actually deduce this. A mechanical pump can pump the blood, but it will not be able to produce the hormone. So fourth option is indeed correct in this context. तो कैसा था students question? अच्छा लगा तो कमेंट करके ज़रूर बताओ and do understand. Okay, चलिए एक और क्वेश्चन लेते हैं. बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है. And whenever you people give the answer, I would always advise before reading the paragraph, always read the question first. So which of the following if true? Which of the following if true? And even students passages भी जब आप solve करते हो, having a look over the questions will actually help you in giving the correct answers, and that too in less time. तो time भी students वहाँ पर हमेशा save होता है. तो questions एक बार देखना is always advisable. So which of the following if true would best help to explain the apparent paradox presented above? Yes. So students, there is a paradox. I hope you people do understand what is a paradox. Two opposite situations existing simultaneously. So that becomes a paradox. Yes, I think this question is not so tough. Okay. Between 1960 and 1970, ivory poachers in the African nation of Zimbabwe killed over 6,500 elephants. During that period, the total elephant population in Zimbabwe fell from about 35,000 to just under 30,000. In 1970, new anti-poaching measures were implemented in Zimbabwe. And between 1970 and 1980, over 800 poachers were arrested and expelled from the country. Nevertheless, by 1980, the elephant population in Zimbabwe had fallen to about 21,000. अब सोचो स्टूडेंट्स, सोचो 1970 में हमने कुछ नए मेजर्स लिए और कई सारे पोचर्स को हमने अरेस्ट किया, हमने कंट्री से एक्सपेल कर दिया. Till by 1980, the elephant population in Zimbabwe had fallen. So students, if we have taken these measures, तो actually elephant की population बढ़नी चाहिए, लेकिन elephant की population तो और कम हो गई. So here this becomes the paradox. Now you people will have to give the correct answer. Which option can best logically explain this paradox? तो क्या लगता है students, which is the best answer? First one, the poachers arrested in Zimbabwe between 1970 and 1980 were rarely sentenced to long prison terms. Possible. ठीक है, मतलब उन्हें अरेस्ट भी करते हैं और जल्दी से छोड़ देते हैं. This can be one of the reasons. But again we need to see. Okay, we need to see a more logical answer because आप देखो, हम कई सारे पोचर्स को एक्सपेल भी कर रहे थे, अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, तो ठीक है, कुछ पोचर्स को आपने जल्दी छोड़ भी दिया होगा, बट स्टिल कई पोचर्स को हमने एक्सपेल किया, तो एलिफेंट की पॉपुलेशन कम तो नहीं होनी चाहिए ना. तो फर्स्ट थोड़ा बहुत एक्सप्लेन करता है, बट नॉट कंप्लीटली. सेकेंड, because of highly publicized campaigns against the slaughter of elephants, demand for ivory fell between 1970 and 1980. Students, because of highly publicized campaigns against the slaughter of elephants, demand for ivory fell. अगर डिमांड कम हो गई तो फिर तो एलिफेंट्स की पॉपुलेशन और बढ़नी चाहिए, अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, तो सेकेंड ऑप्शन तो इनफैक्ट बिल्कुल ही गलत है. द एलिफेंट पॉपुलेशन इन नेबरिंग मोम्बासा रोज स्लाइटली between 1970 and 1980. Again students, see थोड़ा बहुत लॉजिकल आंसर देता है, बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड यहाँ पर सबसे बड़ा इशू क्या है, स्लाइटली. मतलब ये पॉपुलेशन अगर बहुत स्लाइटली बड़ी है तो इतना बड़ा जो फॉल है 30,000 से लेकर 21,000 तक का, इतने बड़े फॉल को एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए थर्ड ऑप्शन इज नॉट सफिशिएंट. ओके, हियर स्टूडेंट्स द करेक्ट आंसर इज फोर्थ ऑप्शन. इन जिम्बाब्वे between 1970 and 1980, thousands of acres of forest, the elephant's natural habitat, were cleared for farming. So actually the habitats, the natural habitats of elephants, they got disturbed. And because of that, possibly the number of elephants, the number actually came down. I think students, fourth option seems to be okay, isn't it? Okay, माना कि आपने पोचर्स को तो हटा दिया, लेकिन नेचुरल हैबिटेट को ही अगर आपने डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया, तब तो पॉपुलेशन कम होगी ना. So this becomes the most logical explanation. Now coming on, yet another interesting question. So what is the question? The question says, which of the following two would most strengthen the conclusion drawn by the researchers? Okay, would most strengthen. चलिए, so what the paragraph says? थोड़ा सा disturbance है वीडियो में, okay, because of some construction work which is going on. But anyway, student, you just focus on my voice. इस क्वेश्चन में इतना इन्वॉल्व हो जाओ स्टूडेंट्स की कोई और आवाज आनी ही नहीं चाहिए. ओके, मेल बोवर बर्ड्स कंस्ट्रक्ट एलाबोरेटली डेकोरेटेड नेस्ट और बोवर्स, बेसिंग द जजमेंट ऑन द फैक्ट दैट डिफरेंट लोकल पॉपुलेशंस ऑफ बोवर बर्ड्स ऑफ द सेम स्पीसीज built boers that exhibit different building and decorative styles. Researchers have concluded that bower birds' building styles are a culturally acquired rather than a genetically transmitted trait. Now see students, whenever we talk about a conclusion, we do understand, मैंने last video में भी इस पर focus किया था, conclusion is always based on a premise. So we need to understand whether a given conclusion is based on what premise. And then students, it becomes easier for us to strengthen or to weaken the conclusion. Here students, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is, researchers say that ये जो बोवर बर्ड्स की नेस्ट बिल्डिंग की जो स्टाइल है, इट इज कल्चरली एक्वायर्ड and not genetically transmitted. Okay. Now this conclusion is based on what research, what observation? The observation is the fact that different local populations of bower birds of the same species built bowers that exhibit different building and decorative styles. Now you people try to understand. सेम स्पीसीज के बोवर बर्ड्स अलग अलग तरह के नेस्ट बनाते हैं, इनकी बिल्डिंग स्टाइल अलग है, डेकोरेटिव स्टाइल अलग है. तो स्टूडेंट्स, रिसर्चर्स ने कंक्लूजन निकाला कि एक्चुअली ये जो ट्रेट है, ये जो क्वालिटी है बिल्डिंग नेस्ट, it is culturally acquired and not genetically transmitted. अच्छा, you people try to understand, अगर ये genetically transmitted होता तब तो सबकी स्टाइल सेम होनी चाहिए, पर सबकी स्टाइल अलग अलग है. इसका मतलब है it is not genetically transmitted. But when I say culturally acquired, that means you saw your parents, okay, your parents saw their parents, and then students, they kept learning. So this is what the meaning of culturally acquired is. Okay. Now tell me, students, we need to strengthen the conclusion. So which is the best answer? चलो एक एक करके अपन पढ़ते हैं. Have patience. Coming on the first one, there are more common characteristics than there are differences among the Boer building styles of the local Boer population that has been studied most extensively. Now try to understand, if there had been more common characteristics, अगर students differences से ज़्यादा common characteristics हैं, इससे तो उल्टा ये साबित होता है कि the trait is genetically acquired. Whereas students, मैं तो कुछ और कहना चाहता हूँ, तो फर्स्ट ऑप्शन स्ट्रेंथन कहाँ कर रहा है, फर्स्ट ऑप्शन तो और ज़्यादा वीकन कर रहा है. अंडरस्टैंड. एनीवे स्टूडेंट्स, फर्स्ट ऑप्शन कैन नॉट बी द करेक्ट आंसर. आप जस्ट सोचो ना, अगर कॉमन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ज़्यादा है इसका मतलब है इट इज जेनेटिकली ट्रांसमिटेड. ओके, बट एक्चुअली द डिफरेंसेस आर मोर. एनीवे फर्स्ट ऑप्शन इज नॉट द करेक्ट आंसर. Young male Boer birds are inept at Boer building and apparently spend years watching their elders before becoming accomplished in the local Boer style. I think students, second is a very, very strong answer for us. Second option students इस conclusion को बिल्कुल strengthen करता है, क्योंकि second option क्या कहता है? Young male Boer birds are inept. Students, ये Boer birds जब तक छोटे होते हैं, actually they don't know how to build a Boer. So they see their elders and then students they learn it. इसका मतलब है स्टूडेंट्स ये जेनेटिकली ट्रांसमिटेड नहीं है. अगर ये जेनेटिकली ट्रांसमिटेड होता तो पॉसिबली जो यंग वंस हैं उनमें भी स्टूडेंट्स ये क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए थी, पर यंग वंस में क्वालिटी है नहीं. अब वो स्टूडेंट्स अपने एल्डर्स को देखते हैं, पेरेंट्स को देखते हैं और धीरे धीरे सीखते रहते हैं. इसका मतलब है इट इज़ कल्चरली एक्वायर्ड. तो सेकेंड ऑप्शन कहीं ना कहीं ऑथर के कंक्लूजन को स्ट्रेंथन करता है. तो इंडीड सेकेंड ऑप्शन बिकम्स द करेक्ट आंसर. And moreover students, if you keep reading the other options, I think और कोई ऑप्शन इतना suitable है भी नहीं. Okay, possibly एक आधा ऑप्शन थोड़ा सा क्लोज हो, पर फिर भी students, if you compare, B is a very, very strong answer for us. Okay, the correct answer is second. चलिए, coming on students, the next one. Now coming on the next question, it is not so tough. Okay, we are supposed to find out the assumption. Which of the following can serve as an assumption on which the lawmaker's decision was directly based? छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है, but फिर भी I see some students committing mistake here. Be careful and give the answer. So let us discuss now. Because they were anxious to balance the population of 8,000 men and 2,000 women in the state, the state's lawmakers extended voting rights to women in the year 1869. Now try to understand. The problem was the population ratio was very much adverse. 8,000 men and 2,000 women. So they were concerned about this ratio को कैसे सुधारें. So the policy makers have taken the decision, let us give voting rights to women. So possibly students, what assumption they had before taking the decision? So that becomes the question. Okay. So what is the right answer? I see that some of the students giving fourth option as the answer, but indeed fourth is not the correct answer. Why? Because see, we are not giving voting right to women because they deserve it. Okay, we are not giving for that reason. We are actually giving with a clear-cut purpose, and the purpose is to improve the adverse population ratio. So here students, the correct answer is only one, and that is third. आप just imagine करो, मेरे सामने सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या है? वुमेन के नंबर को बढ़ाना. तो हमने डिसाइड किया कि चलो वुमेन को वोटिंग राइट देते हैं. इसका मतलब है व्हाट डू आई अज्यूम? आई अज्यूम दैट वुमेन वहाँ पर रहना पसंद करते हैं जहाँ पर उन्हें राइट मिलेगा, तो उन्हें वोटिंग राइट देते हैं, तो मोर एंड मोर वुमेन विल कम एंड दे विल सेटल इन आवर प्लेस एंड द एडवर्स रेशियो विल इम्प्रूव. सो दैट इज द पॉइंट. So here the best answer is third. इसके अलावा कुछ भी आंसर लेना गलत है. Students, second, women were superior to men, not at all, and not at all in the sense, मतलब that is not the point here. ऐसा नहीं कि not at all. They may be superior, no comments. Okay, I am gender neutral. Okay, I don't want to have any kind of bias. Okay, चलिए, women would vote in ways that would make the state a better place to live. Again, try to understand the purpose of giving the right is not that. The purpose is to improve the ratio, and that is possible only when I have this assumption, third. Okay? Yes, the correct answer is third one. Well, students, coming on the next one. Now, this question has some data, and we are supposed to find out the conclusion. If the statements above are true, which of the following must also be true? इस क्वेश्चन को मैं बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कस नहीं करूंगा, बहुत ही सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है, हालांकि थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजिंग है ऑप्शंस को देखते हुए. बट स्टूडेंट्स, इफ यू पीपल रिमेन अ बिट केयरफुल, गिविंग द आंसर इज नॉट सो टफ. So what is the answer? Shall I give? Yes, the correct answer is second option. Okay, जैसे स्टूडेंट्स आप पैराग्राफ पढ़ोगे आपको पता चल जाएगा. बाकी सब ऑप्शंस आर क्वाइट कंफ्यूजिंग. The only correct answer is second. Okay, you people can see, especially this particular line of women in the primary childbearing age of range 18 to 24, who account for about 40% of all births. इसका मतलब है स्टूडेंट्स, जितने टोटल बर्थ्स होते हैं उनमें से 40% इस एज ग्रुप में 18 to 24. That itself means that जो रिमेनिंग 60% है, ओके, वो किस एज ग्रुप में होता है? आइदर लेस देन 18 और मोर देन 24. So therefore second option becomes the correct answer. Yes. Once again, we need to find out which option strengthens the author's argument. Now see students, the paragraph says, in many corporations, employees are being replaced by automated equipment in order to save money. However, many workers who lose their jobs to automation will need government assistance to survive. And the same corporations that are laying people off will eventually pay for that assistance through increased taxes and unemployment insurance payments. Now see students, what actually the argument is. The author says that the companies who are going for automation, even if they are now coming on to the next question, another interesting question. बहुत अच्छा है, pause करो, try to understand the argument and then find out the option which strengthens the author's argument. So in many corporations, employees are being replaced by automated equipment in order to save money. However, many workers who lose their jobs to automation will need government assistance to survive. And the same corporations that are laying people off will eventually pay for that assistance through increased taxes and unemployment insurance payments. Now see students, what is author's argument? Author says that the companies which are going for automation, possibly वो वहाँ तो पैसा बचाएंगे, but उनका पैसा बचेगा नहीं, because the workers who are losing the jobs because of this automation, they will require government assistance. The government will have to pay unemployment allowance to them, and from where the government is going to get money by taxing the same companies. So the author says अगर एक जगह पैसा बच भी गया तो दूसरी जगह लग जाएगा. तो ऑटोमेशन का कोई बहुत बड़ा फायदा कंपनीज आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट, isn't it? अब सोचो स्टूडेंट्स, ऑथर के आर्गुमेंट को हमें स्ट्रेंथन करना है. So which is the correct answer? Indeed, the only correct answer is first option. Yes. Why is it so? Try to understand. Now, many workers who have already lost their jobs to automation have been unable to find new jobs. Now, you people try to understand. अगर मैं first option को थोड़ा सा change कर दूँ, many workers who have already lost their jobs to automation were able to get new jobs. अब सोचो स्टूडेंट, जिन वर्कर्स की नौकरी चली गई बिकॉज ऑफ ऑटोमेशन, अगर उन्हें नए जॉब्स मिल जाते हैं तो बस ऑथर की जो पूरी बात है, जो पूरा आर्ग्यूमेंट है, दैट एक्चुअली गेट्स वीकन. These students, author's argument is based on one assumption, that these workers are not going to get new jobs. So the moment I say that these workers are actually getting new jobs, तो author का argument तो वैसे ही weaken हो जाएगा. So try to understand, when we say that in the past also, the workers who actually lost their jobs because of automation were not able to get new jobs. The moment students we take the first option, author की बहुत और ज़्यादा strengthen हो जाएगी, isn't it? Yes, the correct answer is first option. Rest of the options you people can read. Indeed, they are not correct. Hello students, coming on the second last question. So it's a paragraph given to us and we are supposed to find out the last line here. Again, this becomes a question of logical completion of idea. It's a wonderful question. This time, I'll not be giving the answer right now. You people will have to give the answer in the comment box. Okay? बहुत अच्छा question है. I think जल्दी से सही आंसर निकालना is not easy. Okay? चलिए, और स्टूडेंट्स एक क्वेश्चन और है, उसका भी आंसर आप लोग कमेंट बॉक्स में देंगे. राइट? चलिए, so what are we supposed to do here? Again, it becomes a question of logical completion of idea. So ये दोनों questions के answers you will give in the comment box, and by the students the session gets over. So whatever things I have discussed, and I believe that ये कोई बहुत आसान सेशन नहीं था. बहुत पेशेंस के साथ पढ़ाना भी पड़ता है और बहुत पेशेंस के साथ पढ़ना भी पड़ता है. बट स्टूडेंट्स ज़ैट जैसे एग्जाम्स तभी क्लियर हो पाते हैं. So it's all a game of patience. Okay, so keep studying. Thank you very much. See you very soon.